Kirti, what about how are you feeling? Are you feeling charged up? Are you feeling motivated sufficiently?
Okay.
Do you really want that job? Do you really want it now? Okay. Okay. What we have is Zomato. Okay. This is basically a low level design question, which is roughly related to Zomato. The idea is that you have delivery executives, okay, who need to who are related to orders. So when you make an order, you are actually assigning a delivery executive to fulfill that order. So there is some payment also, which is assigned. I mean, related to an order. You have a restaurant also. I'm not very good at spelling, but restaurant which is fulfilling that order, and you have a particular user who has actually asked for this order. So this is a very complex, like a chain kind of thing. What we want to focus on is this interaction between the restaurant and the delivery executive. Okay, so why did I have to choose a word which I'm not very clear about in terms of spelling? But okay, this is the restaurant. This is the delivery executive. What we want to do is we want to send status or get status of an order. Okay, this is in the restaurant. So if you make an order, then you can see whether the order has been accepted, whether the order is being cooked right now, and then also has it been picked up by the delivery executive, and finally has it completed. So that's one thing that we want. We want the status of the order, and the second thing that we want to do.
It's 12 o'clock. Sorry,
Okay, and the second thing that we would really like to do is we would like to assign delivery executive for a particular order ID. Okay, these are the two major APIs that we want to do. They might be of a single service. They might be of different services depending on what you decide. If there are something around it that you have to create, like classes for the above two APIs. This is what we want to do. We want to figure out what we need to write for this to work.
Get status is by customer, right?
Get status is by customer, yes. It can be pretty much by anybody. It might be by the system also. It might be by the delivery executive also for a particular order ID. Yeah.
So this can be called by any of the like by system admin or delivery executive or customer, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. And so assigned delivery executive, so this will happen within the system as well.
Yes. Yes.
And what exactly do you want to focus on in between delivery executive and restaurant?
So the certain parameters that we want to do is time to reach. If we can do that, that will be wonderful. We might be that is the delivery executive already occupied? Then maybe we can let go of that. We don't need to over optimize that. They are on the way to some other person. So if they're occupied, we don't want to bother them. How much time will it take to reach the restaurant is a very good parameter. And yeah, that's pretty much it actually.
Okay. So, okay. So our system is going to be used by multiple people. There will be the customers, they can be delivery executive. Right. So let's focus on these first. Okay. So what happens when an order is placed? So in an order, there will be order ID per order. Give me 1 second.
Sure.
So you want me to focus on these two APIs first, right? Before anything else. Or
yes, or you can pick any one of them. But yeah, these two APIs will be useful.
Okay. Let me first talk about the classes that will be there in our system.
Sure.
So, give me 1 second. Okay. There are going to be many restaurants, right? And now for each restaurant, there is going to be like things like location. menu. Now menu again will have a lot of things like food items, beverages and all of that. So right now let's just keep it as location. Let's as menu. Okay. So restaurants will have a lot of things. Like each delivery executive will have again. So there are so they are not going. Is it okay if I read things like grading of the deliveries executive and all that? So
Yeah.
there can be requirements like for this rating we want or anything like that.
Correct.
So,
Yeah. No, you can ignore all of that which is related to rating, any kind of support call, all of that. Just you don't need that right now.
So can I focus on assigning the delivery executive just on the basis of the location, like who is
Yeah.
being right?
Cool.
So I'm not going to go into the detail of algo of finding the nearest executive. Is that fine? Or
Yeah.
do you want to do that?
No, that's fine. That's fine. Assume that you have an API where if you send locations, then you get time.
Yeah. So maybe when I call this assign delivery executive, right? So I get a location of the restaurant. Okay. I'm just going to call it restaurant. Is a very big word.
Okay.
So we have location of restaurant. Now I call it API. It sends me say a list of 5 or 10 list of some available delivery executives that are nearby. So in case one is not reachable or one doesn't accept or something like that, others are available, right?
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
We have top 3 or top 5 or anything like that. So also like do delivery executives have to like accept the request or they just have to go if they're assigned or how does it?
So one of the things that if you how would you like it? Basically, one of the things that you can see is assigned delivery executive is a function when you, let's say you and I are near the restaurant, you get the assignment first and you say no. So then it comes to me. So assigned delivery executive is called again. That is one way to do it. The other way is that you broadcast and anyone who accepts gets it. So how would you prefer to do it?
I would say we prefer the first person, like whoever is nearest to them. And if the person doesn't accept it, like say some time duration, like in 10 seconds or like half a minute or something like that, then it is assigned to someone else. 10 seconds would be very less, like 1 or 2 minutes or something like that.
Right.
And then assigned to the next person.
Okay. Which makes sense, right? Because these executives are our employees. They are not like in Uber where there's a third party and they may or may not accept. Okay, cool. That sounds good. Okay.
Okay. So now when I send the location of the restaurant from this API, I can make a list of the available delivery executives. Now when I get this list, firstly it will be sorted by the distance, like nearest one I should get first, and obviously the person should be available.
Okay.
Right. So these two should be the criteria. Does that sound fine to you?
Yeah.
So my API is taking care of it. I'm not doing anything like that. Like our assigned delivery executive is not doing. Like I'm calling an API where I'm sending the location and I'm getting back the list which is sorted in terms of the distance and all and they are only available delivery executives. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So once that happens, now for assigning, what all things do I have to do, right? So for assigning, I have to sort of, okay, so there will be a restaurant ID, right? So say it's a restaurant, so there will be restaurant ID. There will be, so now I'm going to select this particular executive, right? So
Okay.
there will be a delivery executive ID, right? So again, I'm going to just call it as PCID, and this is delivery executive ID. Then I also need to so when I'm assigning the delivery executive, I should also send the details of the order, right?
Yeah, no, just to clarify, this assigned delivery executive is more like find delivery executive. It's not just setting the delivery executive. We are not passing in a parameter of delivery executive. We are actually finding and then setting. for this particular order, delivery executive. So like you said, you are going to find nearby in the restaurant ID, you're going to find nearby delivery executives. You can assume that to be a function call in a database. You can also assume that it gives you a sorted list of the top 10. But the assignment is going to be through you. So if you have chosen the logic of, select a delivery executive, then you have to go and save it in the database also, that this order is going to be satisfied by this delivery executive.
Okay. Okay, so you're saying selection of delivery executive is done?
No, you will be doing it.
Okay, so that API that I was talking about, I have to do. Right?
Yes, selection of delivery executive, like many of the things are taken care of. You have some library functions like find me nearby top 10 delivery executives, sort them based on time. All those are taken care of through the library that you're using. But selecting the person is up to you.
Oh. Say I get back a vector of executives from that particular API, which is like get.
You're using C++, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get nearest available executives.
Okay.
Right. So this is fine. And for this, I will just send location. I guess that much is enough.
Yeah.
Right. Now for this location, I think I'm going to need a lot of details from the restaurant also. So either I can just pass restaurant ID and then have like that get restaurant from this restaurant ID and get the location, or I can just pass the location itself. For now, I'm just passing the location.
Okay.
And usually location would be like latitude, longitude into particular double values. Right now, for simplicity purposes, let me just write this.
You're passing in an object. Okay. So one of the things that you are going to do is in the database itself, you'll be seeing whether the get me location for restaurant ID. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I have gotten the executives. They are sorted also, right? As we okay. So say we have this thing that okay. So I tell the first particular executive that you have to accept this. Now, if the person doesn't accept it, like say 1 or 2 minutes, then I have to send it to the next person, right? So I'm going to I'll go in a very simple way. So right now I'm just going to keep a boolean variable as rule accepted and then say it as false. So while it is not accepted, I will just keep sending the, right now I'm not going into the details of writing the algo. So I'll basically send to the next executive. Okay. And if person doesn't accept it in the in time frame, say delay of 2 minutes, okay, then I have to go to my next executive.
You're going to continue? Yes.
Okay, now there can be many better ways to obviously handle this, right? So now say there are 10. So this will suppose all 10 are not available or they don't accept it, will end up wasting like 20 minutes and then I have to take. So I have to go to my, have to again make a call and get next 10 or something like that. So,
but is that a problem? Like, for example, even in Swiggy or Zomato or Uber or anything, you can just fail the request, right? You can say, oh my God, I couldn't find a single delivery executive.
So what I've seen is usually order gets placed in the restaurant. So that is one activity. So while the order is being prepared, this delivery executive thing is happening, right?
Right.
So I don't think usually this is such a huge time constant thing that, within this much time frame itself, we have to find it. It's okay if it takes 15 minutes. Like, according to me. By the time order is being prepared. What do you think?
No, that makes sense actually. Yeah, I think I'll take my statement back. It's not like you need it right now, the delivery executive. While the order is being made, you can like semi-optimize and find the right delivery executive who's the best. Yeah, totally agree with you. Yes.
So, we could obviously optimize this by, sending requests parallelly to, say, Pico people and see whichever accepts first. And we could do things like that. But do we really need to do it? Because order preparation would take at least 10 15 minutes. So, I think that much time is enough. Or, try one minute or 2 minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. So, for now, is this much fine, or do you still want me to go into details of how a particular delivery executive is selected?
We can go to the next one. In case we get time, we can always come back and flesh this out more.
But
For now, this is good.
so,
Okay.
say after all of this, I have delivery executive. Okay, so I have string executive ID now, right? So sorry. Okay, so I have this. Now after the entire thing, like after sending the request, someone exception, I have that. Right? So now I've selected delivery executive. Now I have to save it in database that okay, this is my delivery executive, this is my location, these are the order details, right?
Okay.
Another question I have is that a particular delivery executive will at a time deliver only one order, right? So it is not like if there are multiple orders going from similar location to similar location, then you want them to carry multiple orders, something like that.
At the moment, we can ignore it. At the moment, I think we should ignore it. In fact, yeah, let's ignore it.
It becomes very complex then.
Yeah. No, we are not looking for that kind of optimization yet. And the other kind of optimization is just, this person is going to complete their order here, and then they can reach the restaurant faster than a person who's going to travel all the way. So again, that thing we can assume to be, we can ignore it.
At particular time, whoever is near the and available is just like for now percentage.
Right.
Or as you said, it could be like so order will be ready in 10 minutes. So and after 10 minutes, who will be nearest and available? Someone places the order.
Yes, that is one thing. But you might also say that okay, it will take them 3 minutes to get there. So in 7 minutes, I should tell them that go. So by the time the order is ready, they'll be able to grab it right off the plate.
Now again, see in Uber, while a person is already about to complete the ride, you start. I have seen drivers get requests for the next ride.
Yeah.
So maybe something like that could happen. That while the person is finishing one, the person gets the request to accept it. Now again, the person can accept it.
Right. But I think we can ignore that part because it is a little complex. Or if you are finding it simple, then we can dig into that also.
Let's finish the
Cool. Sounds good. Yeah.
So now let me also talk about what are the statuses of order as possible. Okay. So order can be like order is placed. Usually Zomato doesn't have the option of cancelling. Like once you place the order and the restaurant is closed, like you can't cancel it. But say our admin cancels it or delivery executive or restaurant cancels it, they'll still have the enum value cancelled as a status for the policy.
Okay.
So there is a phase cancelled. One can be picked up now. Okay, and I don't know if they can use this thinking out loud. So maybe they can be a status like order is ready but not picked up. Right? So if I if I have to talk in the order, okay, so first it can be placed, okay. Now after that, after getting placed, now it can be ready but not picked up.
Got it.
So that will be ready. Then one is that it has been picked up on its way.
Okay.
And one is that it is completed, so it is delivered.
Okay, and one is like preparing, sort of here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. These are enum values. Okay. Fine. That sounds good.
So when you say get status, one of these will be the return
value. Okay.
Makes sense. Now, what are details can an order have? Let's talk about that also. So my order class, what are things can it have? Okay. Order will obviously have restaurant ID. So it will be restaurant ID.
Okay.
And not sure if it should have the executive ID or not. So, but now we can choose that we tightly couple, like, we want to have all the information related to order over there. That, okay, who completed this order. But that also means that I have to keep updating this order again, right? That which delivery executive did. Then I also have to show the timestamps of all the stages, like when it was placed, when it was ready, when it was picked up, things like that. Maybe I can store all the timestamps. So I can choose to store everything in one place, or I can just have details like what all was part of order, like what was the menu, what was ordered exactly, at what time, and what was the restaurant, and then store separate, and then have like a different class which takes care of the delivery part. That is like who was the executive, what was the process. So now we could decouple them so that it becomes easier to track that when was it placed and what was the process, like when, who took care of the process.
Okay.
So
Okay.
like tomorrow, if my service changes, like tomorrow, if I don't want to have my own delivery executive, I want to hire a third party who does that, right? So I can still reuse this task if it has just the restaurant ID and like the order details like food and all, and it does not have the delivery executive details. So tomorrow, if that has to be taken care separately, they can be separate.
Okay. Okay. So you're taking some of the details. What about the status of the order?
Now, so now, okay. So when we say at okay, so when I say that my process will be taken care by someone by another class, right? So then see, what does an order actually mean? So if I am keeping only the restaurant ID and the food in this particular class, it's not exactly order because order has to have all the other details also, right? Like the status and everything. But this is just like items placed in order, like what will be the term of that? Just the items like the restaurant and the food order.
Just the invoice, you mean, like things which are important to the order, not the status. Okay, so all the state changes you're going to have somewhere else, like you're going to log them, you're going to probably keep them in a nice way, and you're going to have a pointer to that in the order. Okay.
So this is, say it is called item details, right? So that will have like from the restaurant as well as the food and whatever is on. So that is I say item.
Okay.
Okay. Now my order will have like item details also.
Okay.
It will have order status, which will be basically that, and there will be an object of process, like the entire delivery process that happens. Maybe something like delivery process.
Okay. So this is going to be storing all the changes, all the things which happened. Okay.
So does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Is delivery process related to order status, or is it its own thing?
So when delivery process is updated, also order status has to be updated, right?
Okay.
So another thing, just thinking out loud, okay? So now whenever my delivery process has to be updated, I have to update my order status, which is part of this order, okay?
Okay.
Now I'm thinking out loud that maybe there could be an observer pattern over here. And every time you update the information in delivery process, you update this particular class, which takes care of the order status.
Okay, that is interesting. So the observer pattern is interesting. It is something that I have in mind, but would you use it for
so then both of them can't be the same class, and it won't make that sense.
Yes.
Right? Order status have to be outside. Then I have to think, what do I call that particular class?
Right. Right. Do you want it to be outside? Do you want to? So who are the people who want to observe this order? It might be people who are outside it, Like,
Yes,
okay,
my customer wants to see.
yeah, so maybe a notifier, a notification service, maybe those guys might want to see it. Over here, like you said, an observer class, the same class is definitely aware. So you don't need
Right.
to have, listeners there.
Right. So as my delivery process changes, I think this order status is part of the same class, right? So it automatically gets updated to the website.
Okay.
But definitely there will be like a notifier to customers on there where this observer pattern can be used for.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. The delivery status, in my personal opinion, like what I'm seeing is the delivery status and the order status and delivery process can have a class in itself. They are mainly about order status.
Yeah. I think delivery process itself will have order status which will get updated. So delivery process and identity these are the two different put that together to make an order.
Okay. The delivery process to me seems like a log. So it looks like a list. So it looks like, it's probably going to have a timestamp, a message.
So, as I said, so these are the possible states of order, right? Like picked up, delivered. So we can either store timestamps of all of them, like an epoch time or something like that. So if the time has been updated, if it does not say some value or something, then it is in this stage right now, right? Something like that.
Okay.
Do that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Now, which part do you want me to talk about now? Like I have talked a bit about how the status will be stored and how the order will be, like how the classes will look like.
Yeah. No, I want to see the way in which that state information, whenever there's a change, is going to be sent to classes which are interested in this order. So you have some classes which are interested in some orders. So, for example, a notifier service is interested, or maybe you want to publish some events to a queue, which might be in your internal in the service only, and you have publishers and subscribers in the same service. So, I want to see okay, fine. If you're going to use a design pattern or you're going to use a publisher subscriber also kind of model, in which you are, for every status change, you're changing the order and you're also telling people that, hey, there's been an order change. Or do you want to capture that as event?
Basically, observer design pattern that I was talking about. So, since we're talking about ULM design, let me talk about how things will happen.
Okay.
So, observer design pattern, what actually happens. So let me give you a context of what happens in that. So, there is a subscriber. And so what happens is that there will be a list of observers. Okay. And now in this subscriber, you can add an observer, or you can remove an observer. Add, remove, and then you can notify all these observers.
Okay.
So basically, whenever any update happens, so now there is a change in my status of the status, so I'm going to notify all the observers and the status has been changed. Now you do whatever you want. For example, there can be multiple observers for in-app. Now, suppose we want to send a notification on the phone, or we want to send an email also, right? So there are two different observers. One is the email service, one is the SMS service. Okay. So what I will do is I will have a list of observers here. So my list of observers will have SMS service as well as my email service. And now, as soon as the status changes, I'm going to say, notify all of these observers that the status has changed, and whatever the observer has to do, that is my email service or my SMS service. Whatever they have to do, they will take care of. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So how are you going to actually send that is interesting.
That would be high level design. Okay.
No, so assume that we have a monolith. Yeah.
Let's talk about classes.
Right.
So let me talk on the class level and how it will be, right? So say I have Okay. So for now, let's say all my observers are like different classes, like SMS service, email service, or it can be my client, like application or something like that. Okay. So there is one. So say I have an interface like observer interface. Let me observer is not a good term for it. I'm thinking what is a good term, or everyone who has to be updated. Let me for now call it observer, and then I can see what is the difference. So for now, I am saying this is my observer interface. Okay, and what do I do now? There will be classes that will derive from this observer interface, which will be say SMS service class. There will be email service class. Okay, let's take only these two classes. Is it fine?
Yeah.
Okay. So my observer interface is an interface. So it has a virtual function. I'm talking in C++ language. So it has a virtual function which is update update order status, right? So this particular class will have update. Something happened.
Yeah, no, I'm just sharing my screen. Is this the kind of observer pattern that you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, so you can share your screen. Oh, that's pretty good here. Please. Yes, Kirti, yes.
Okay. I guess you got the point.
Yeah.
So update order status. Okay.
Okay.
So there is a class update order status. Now SMS service, email service. So I make this as a pure virtual function so that all these services have to derive this and have to implement it. So now whenever the status is updated, whatever these SMS service or email service has to be created. Do I make sense?
Okay. You can add an observer, you can remove an observer, you can notify observers. In the observer interface, you are saying update order status. So these two. So you're saying SMS service will have
when
to
I notify observer, basically when order is current order status is changed. You
Okay.
basically you will call something like that for all observers call update order status.
Okay. So you are saying that the SMS service has to first say that, hey, I'm an observer because I implement, and therefore I implement the observer interface, and now the notify observers method checks which all classes actually implement this interface. Please send them the update order status. Okay.
For all of these services,
Just call this function. Okay. So you're letting them all know. Now, once this is called, that time they can take the relevant action according to the service, and they are good to go. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds like a decent way in which we can send. Tomorrow, if a new service comes up, which is payment service, and it wants to know that the order status, if it goes to cancelled, then and only then I'm interested. But it doesn't matter. You just implement this interface, right? And then one restart of the code and you're sorted. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so in my opinion, the get status is seeming good. We didn't even in low level design, we are able to keep it quite extendable. Assigned delivery executive, again, you're able to get nearby delivery executives to accept. Till you haven't accepted, you're running a for loop or a while loop. Yeah, I mean, this is good. When you'll have acceptance, then you'll just go ahead. Okay, so delay of 2 minutes. Okay, so checking the next delivery executive. You're basically making. Okay, can you just help me out here? When you're assigning a particular delivery executive, you're waiting till they haven't accepted. So this is a sequential operation.
Yeah, I actually mentioned that we could do it in parallel, but as we discussed that, we could set it to 3 or 4 or 5 executives parallelly and
Right.
see whoever is supposed to do that.
No, so let's keep it sequential. I think that's a good idea. You are keeping the system quite, simple and easy to understand. That otherwise there is going to be like accepted, someone turns it through, somebody else gets through, so concurrency issues.
Yes.
But having said that, are you going to be running this assigned delivery executive in like when you're sending this network call? Yeah, are you going to be sending? I'm sorry.
Do you mean like when are you going to stop? Are you going to like keep sending?
No, I mean to say that are you going to be running them in parallel? This method in parallel, not the internal for loop, but the method. So multiple orders come together. Yeah, multiple delivery executives in different locations. You're sending notifications to those delivery executives. Are you going to be doing that in parallel?
So, as you can see, I've not even asked the order details right now. I've just asked the restaurant ID. Right now, like the delivery executive doesn't care about what is the order I need to do like that. Basically, then I need to go to this restaurant. So you do that. Right?
So okay, let's assume that you are a delivery executive. I am a delivery executive. You are in Delhi. I am in Chennai. We are assigned this thing. Like we get an assigned delivery executive. We are nearby to our restaurant, and we want to get an order to execute. So is Zomato going to be executing these two requests in parallel or in sequence? It's probably going to be
right.
Okay.
Sorry. In parallel.
In parallel, yes. So that's a great thing. So it's going to be executing it in parallel. The notification is going to be sent by the same class though to the executive. Right? So can you tell me what you will use there? Like even in a database when multiple people are coming together and trying to access the connection, there's a particular pattern that is used. When you have one resource, let's say a notification service or IO calls or the database, there's a resource, there's a lot of clients which want to use that resource. We actually keep a queue is one thing, but you want to run it in parallel, so you can't make it just FIFO. It has to be
asynchronous queues basically, so that you just leave it there and
okay.
The term is not coming.
Right, no, that's fine. So if you have one connection, creating and destroying a connection is pretty expensive. So you have multiple connections in a
so they just put it in queue. So now you will take it that okay, this has to be the notification has to be sent. So
okay, that's absolutely one thing. Yes, that is you are going to be doing it asynchronously.
Yes.
But I also
you have to push it back to the queue and that.
Yes, you're reusing things. So that is basically like an object pool, I would say.
Yes.
Right. Okay, sounds good. Okay, Kirti, do you have any questions for me and about the job especially?
Can I work for anything?
We'll have to get back on that. But sorry, 10 seconds remaining. Thanks, Kirti, for this. All right, Kirti, it's time for the feedback. Honestly, I think some of the things that you mentioned were really, really useful in terms of the product. Like, for example, you had two choices. One was to broadcast to all nearby delivery executives, whether you want this order or not, which is something that Uber does or Ola does, because they want an immediate response and they also want to increase the hit rate. While in this case, that's not necessary because you have dedicated delivery executives, people who are working with you, ready to take orders. So it's not like they want to or not, you're going to assign it, that was one good product decision. The other good product decision was that you are not quick to assign it. You actually take your time. You have the restaurant preparing food and then you try to optimize in the back. So now this opens up the possibility that you can actually have some sort of a streaming architecture where you are slowly sending events and your system has some time to think and respond. Like the most important thing is the payment and actually noting down the order. Assigning a delivery executive is not like as real-time critical as the other two things. So those were great product decisions. Actually, as a person who's thinking about the product, you were excellent. There were some good coding patterns also you thought of, like design patterns. One of them was the observer pattern, which simplified the problem to a large extent. All of these are all positive. The only, let's say, negative two things. One is that we were short on time. That's the reason why probably you were not able to dig into the code much. So in terms of code, or in terms of how are you going to test this code, that was like, I think in a 45-minute interview, it's impractical to think about testing. But in terms of coding, yeah, a little more of fleshing out would have been nice. Again, short interview, that's probably the reason why. And the other thing was, towards the end, we were talking about a particular pattern of having a set of resources and having a lot of users who are contending for that resource. So I was thinking that you'll think about things like concurrency, like semaphore and all that. But what I really wanted to think about is the resource pool, like an object pool, like a set of objects that you create. You don't want to create them multiple times because it becomes expensive. So like a connection pool for databases, or you can have basically connection pool is a pretty good idea. You sometimes have a pool of objects which send emails and stuff like that, like difficult to construct. You want to limit the number of objects that you create. That's the connection pool. That was the only like negative that I would give. So overall, yeah, if you want a rating, it's a strong higher, somewhere in between. So congratulations, that's excellent. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Dan, thank you so much for having me and for letting me, have the experience of Interview Ready. I'm guessing I'm one of the first few customers who
you're the first actually. Yeah, this was running on staging. So yeah, there might be a couple of bugs, a lot of bugs that you faced actually while logging in. But inside also there were bugs, but hopefully we'll iron them out. But thank you so much for coming actually, and thank you for trying out this platform. Hopefully the next time you see this, it will be very, very smooth and very, very helpful. Yeah.
And I'd like to tell all the viewers that don't forget to use the coupon code Kirti while you buy Interview Ready to access all these services. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a useful coupon code. It knocks off some of the price. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, guys. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye, guys. Take care. See you. Have a great interview preparation time. Coding skill. That's because you've already been reported. Okay, fine. I can reset form, but I don't want to do that. Submit. Okay, then. Interview experience was okay. Okay. Oh, fully satisfied now. There's always scope for improvement. All right then.